boy, Tremel, from the Progressive Action TV show, the #1 labor TV show in New York City. I am the, as they calling me now, let me put it on the screen. They calling me now, the labor and transit leader that New York City needs. I happily accept it. I do. I'm not gonna lie. Now, listen, we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. I'm actually in one of my better moods. I've been in other areas, but I'm in one of my better moods today. And we got some things to talk about. We're going to talk about the facts. You know, I'm going to bring the receipts, the invoices, whatever you want to call it, to the forefront. These lies from our union administration. We're going to talk about the national walkout, workers walkout yesterday that I attended and I spoke at. I'm going to play the video from there. And you guys already know how this works. Donate to the platform. You know, nothing happens without you guys. Without the donations, donate to the platform. Without the donations, nothing happens. So it's important that you guys donate to the platform. The Cash App is $ Progressive Action 100. Now, what I'm going to jump into real quick. Oh, before I start, I need you guys to share out the live. You guys been doing an excellent job. Do not stop now. Continue to share out the lives, retweet it, whatever you need to do, get it out there. So I'm going to start by playing the speech that I did yesterday in front of City Hall, and I'm giving y'all a little bit of background behind that. And like I said, we go jump into some union stuff, and we go jump into some alleged snitching that's going on at Gleason Depot. I'm going to address that because I don't like the way that's going. I'm going to address that. But let's get into the video.
It is my honor and my privilege to introduce the next speaker. Back in August, as we were planning a rally for August 25th that happened right here, we had over 3,000 people. The very first person to confirm and say he was willing to speak is about to come up right now. He is an amazing New Yorker. He is an amazing activist, and he is the transit and labor leader in New York City. From Progressive Action TV, ladies and gentlemen, I give to you Tremel Thompson.
New York City, make some noise. Let them know you ain't here today. Who got the power? Who got the power? Louder, that don't sound like power. Who got the power? We got the power. Who got the power? We got the power. There we go. Now I want to talk about the 5 freedoms of being a citizen in the United States. You got religion, you have speech, you have press, you have assembly, and you have the right to petition the government. When I think of American citizens, I think of you guys because that's why y'all here today. Put those American flags up. Now I want to make this clear. I'm a transit worker. I'm not standing here with you guys today because I'm a transit worker. I'm not standing here with teachers. I'm not standing here with NYPD. I'm not standing here with FDNY. I'm standing here as an American citizen. I want to make that clear, as an American citizen. Now, one of the things that I fight for a lot of labor rights in New York City. And I find it strange that the people who's gainfully employed is being treated worse than the people who's destroying our city. I don't understand how they even come to that conclusion, right? It makes absolutely no sense. Absolutely no sense. I gotta make this fast because I see the speakers about to go out. But check this out. The last 4 letters in American is I can. I can. So when I point to you guys, I want you to say I can. Let's try it. Let's try it. Say no to mandates. And will protect our children. Stand up for what's right. Right to assemble. I ain't pointing. Y'all moving too quick. Now look, I want to explain this fist on my jacket because a lot of people think, oh, he's black. This means black power. This means... I want to explain. I never had to explain this before, but I'm explaining now. And I want to get back to those 5 American freedoms that we have. Everybody hold their hand up in the air. And every time I say one, I want you to put a finger down. Religion, press, speech, assembly, right to petition the government. What we have. When we bring this together, we can't be defeated. This is power. Let's go, New York City. You have a great day. I got to get back to the fight. This is only part of it, but the real fight. Oh, one more thing. If you control the narrative, you control the war. One of the reasons I started Progressive Action TV, which gets more views, some of my shows get more views than NBC, ABC, but they ain't talking about that. I need you guys to follow it on Facebook. It's Progressive Action TV, and follow our Twitter, Progressive Act. Remember this fist, and remember the power. Let me hear y'all, New York City.
Thank you, Jamel. So, I'm Heather.
Yeah, so I attended the rally yesterday. They asked me to come out and speak. To be honest, I really didn't want to do no speeches yesterday. I was not in the mood. I didn't even feel like taking the subway. I didn't take the subway. I'm happy that I did speak. And, you know, the work still have to be done. Even though when we don't want to do the work still have to be done. But it's very important that we make our voices heard during this critical time in our country, because we have the mainstream media trying to control the narrative, talking about people are anti-vax when we are really anti-mandate. And it's very important that we control the narrative and let them know that everyone should have a choice what they want to do. And then you have people saying, well, you had to take vaccine mandates is not new. You had to do it to come to school. Yeah, but there wasn't no vaccine that was created within a year and was given to us or forced upon us. Every vaccine that we have taken, especially me when I was going to school, been in existence for years. It's been in existence for years. And they didn't even force the chickenpox vaccine on us. I never got that, right? I never got the chickenpox vaccine. They never forced that on us. And that's what it's about. It's about choice. So we're not going to allow them to control the narrative on that. We're going to control the narrative and tell the truth. Now let's jump into some union business. Let's jump into that. We got to pay close attention, because this is the season that these guys decide to lie. This is when they decide not to tell the truth. This is when they decide to play tricknology, 3-card Monty, smoke screen and mirrors. This is their specialty. This is what they do. Specifically speaking with the pandemic and how they failed to protect us during the pandemic. So one of the first posts I'm going to put up before I play the video is very important. And like I said, I need you guys to share this out. Share this out, because people think that when we talk about transit issues that we are only talking about the workers. No, we're talking about the riding public too. That's why I'm the transit labor leader in New York City, because our issues are the riders' issues. And the union has failed to do that, because the union issues is the government issues. They don't care about the riders or the workers. So I have to advocate, my team have to advocate progressive action for both of those factions, because they are very important to us. And our families are the ones who actually ride the system. So if we're not protected, they aren't protected. And that's how that works. So I'm going to bring up this screenshot real quick regarding the handling of the pandemic. And this was written by Nilda Lunt. When Nilda was on the good part of history before she went to the dark side, she used to write some good, interesting things. And I found this post that she made March 26, 2020, before they accepted her in, of course, because she would never write anything like this now. She said, "I am angry because Tano made sure to buy computers to keep our electeds safe at home." And that let me do a disclaimer. She writes kind of crazy, and I don't know if I should read it to correct it or read it exactly how she wrote it, but let me finish. because Utano made sure to buy computers to keep our elected safe at home, and that fine if he took the same initiative to get gloves, masks, and hand sanitizer for the frontline members. I know they couldn't prevent our brothers calling, but you could have invested in supplies. You could have addressed your members attempting to ease their fears. You could have shed some light on what precautions you were negotiating with date and times of implementations. Unfortunately, you lack leadership qualities. Your silence is crippling to our 40,000 member who was in need of guidance of true leadership. And once again, you were missing. Utano, you rather talk to the media when we lose one of our own. We need true leaders. Now, I read that as she wrote it, so don't think that I was reading it wrong. That's how she writes, right? And I agree with her. Forget about how she write or whatever the case is. I agree with what she said here. They went to buy computers instead of investing in some PPE for the workers, and amongst other things. Now, I actually found the video talking about this, which I find it very important that we listen to see what Utano actually said on March 20, 2020 about masks, about them working from home, the computers, plans on how to fight this. I want you guys to listen for yourselves and decide, did they do the right thing or not? And I'm going to break down some things in this video that they messed up on, right? And their negligence resulted in deaths of transit workers. So let's listen to this video.
Affecting protocols, this sort of new way of wiping down the system twice a day and so forth. Do your members have what they need in order to do that? I mean, there are a lot of chemicals involved, and this is a new line of work, right?
That's one of the reasons that you can't just give everybody a mask. If the job requires proper protection equipment with a mask, and the chemical says you need a mask, then of course we're going to have a mask. They have the white suits, and they have all of the stuff when they're wiping down. But basically what they're doing is spraying bleach and wiping down the handrails, and the turnstiles, and any kind of contact that any kind of contact by hand would be wiped out.
Right. Now, staff itself, what have you folks been doing? Have you had to send folks home? Do you know about any positive testing within your shop?
As of today, we have none. But what we did was we went out and bought more computers, and we are running remote operations from the home, and we have limited staff coming in, just to man anything. And everybody's on call. Everybody has a phone, so we're running a full operation.
Got it.
But not from the union halls.
Right. And so in a not worst case scenario, but when the wave hits, as the governor puts it, when in about 45 odd days we start to see really big numbers of people who have to be hospitalized, who require medical treatment and so forth. What's the outlook for you and your members? I mean, you're getting everybody around right now, but are you expecting your workforce to be negatively affected when this wave hits?
I can't answer that question, but I can just tell you that my workforce is out there working, and that's one of the reasons why we're working together to try and kind of when the public boards the bus, maybe being in a different place, being 6 feet apart, to taking off the front of the chairs to put them at the back. I mean, we're working on different scenarios, so if somebody gets on the bus and tries to if they sneeze or something happens and they have the virus, they start infecting all the bus operators, and then they can't come to work, then there's going to be a problem. But as of right now, we're still working on different ideas to get that done.
Okay. And then finally, just to
now let's discuss some important things that Utano said during this video. Now, he said one of the reasons he can't give everyone a mask is because there's not enough masks for the people who's doing the cleaning, right? And he said if your job requires PP with a mask, of course you would get a mask, right? So let me ask you guys this, because people was out there lying, saying that that everyone got a mask. That was untrue. We heard from Tano voice himself. If your job don't require a mask, you wasn't getting a mask. So do bus operators require a mask? No, they don't. They didn't get a mask in the beginning of this pandemic. Train operators, conductors, our jobs don't require a mask. Tower operators, your job don't require a mask. Car equipment, your job don't require a mask. Right? There's a lot of tight track workers. Your job don't require a mask. Structure maintainers, line and signals. Your job don't require a mask, right? So there's so many titles in this company or operation that don't require a mask. So no, everyone did not get a mask during this pandemic like they trying to sell now. If you look at Eric Logel's myth about the pandemic, it's not a myth, it's facts. We heard Tony Tano say it himself. And Eric just wrote this a couple of weeks ago, right? So he said, look at the X. Union officials didn't want us to have masks. Yes, Tano didn't want us to have masks. He only wanted the people who was doing the cleaning to have masks. This is a fact. This is not a myth. Union officials agreed with the MTA policies. This is a fact. This is not a myth. I'm going to play a video on that again about this situation. Union officials all stayed at home. This is a fact. This is not a myth. Tano, in the video, he said that we went out to buy more computers and they running remote operations from the home. This is not a myth. This is fact. Tano said it on TV with Errol Lewis, New York 1, right? So we're not making up these lies. We are not guessing. We're not doing none of that. All of this is fact, and this is how they try to spin it into myths. They act like none of this stuff was recorded. They acting like there wasn't no post made. They treat us like we're idiots, like we're dumb, like we can't put two and two together. This is how they treat us, right? He also said everyone is on call and everyone has a phone and we're running full operation, but not from the union hall. So what does that mean? What does that mean? You guys was not in the field, and he said that y'all gonna be running this stuff from home, basically. They got y'all computers. They got y'all phones. They ain't give you computers to sit in nobody crew room, nobody depot room, nowhere else. You got your computers to sit at home, right? You had phones so you could field questions from home, right? Now, what I want to bring up to you guys is the attention of this date. He said as of today, which he was meaning March 20th, 2020, that they had no positive results. The union, the people who worked in the union hall did not test positive for COVID during that time, right? So they abandoned ship long before the death wave. Forget the infection wave. The death wave hit the workers of New York City Transit. They've been abandoned ship. Look at the date of this video. It's March 20th, 2020. It's March 20th, 2020. They abandoned us well before the death wave hit New York City Transit workers. Now, they also said, now think about this, March 20th, 2020, while they were working from home, they was thinking of ways to protect bus operators from home, from the comfort of their home with their computer in front of them, thinking of ways how to protect bus operators instead of being out in the field, instead of being out on the buses, instead of being out in the depots, instead of being out on the lines or on the runs, trying to see what's going on. They decided to seek refuge in the comfort of their homes to protect themselves and their family. These are not union leaders, ladies and gentlemen. They are not. They are not union leaders. This is not how leaders operate. And I'm going to tell you guys this. If Local 100 was hip hop, Stand United will be what we call sucker MCs, right? Let me say that again. If Local 100 was hip hop, Stand United will be the ones we call the sucker MCs, because that's what they are, man. And I'm not saying this to be funny. I'm saying this for real, because this is how they were, this is how they operate. You know, while bus operators was out in the field trying to figure out, because they basically drive a test tube full of germs, right? That's what a bus really is, a test tube full of germs. They decided to pull up a rope as if the germs from the virus go say, hey, there's a rope here. We cannot cross this rope to infect the bus operator. This is good. Like, what kind of sense does that make? This is what they came up with when they was working from home. This is the leadership that you guys put faith in. How can you do this moving forward? You know, I just don't get it. Now, Tano also mentioned during that video that everyone has a cell phone, right? Now, all right, Tano, everyone has a cell phone. Did you, as the commander-in-chief, make sure that the members had the officers' cell phone numbers? Because you specifically mentioned buses. You ain't care about subways. You ain't care about MOW. You ain't care about stations. You specifically mentioned buses. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about the buses. Now, this is the contact list for the buses. Go to the union website right now. Go click on departments and click on the departments. Every department of buses. Click on every department of buses. This is what you will see when you go to the contact list. The union hall number. Now, you have a lot of people from the bus department passed away, right? A lot of people from buses passed away. So Tano said that everyone has cell phones. Nobody's really going to be working from the union hall. So who was manning the phones at the union hall, Tano? Nobody, because you sent everyone home. You said everyone had cell phones. Then why aren't the officers' cell phone numbers listed in buses? This is the private lines. Let's go to TA Surface. This is TA Surface. There is no number, a cell phone number listed for the officers of TA Surface. Only the union hall number once again. So how was the members supposed to contact the officers regarding the issues during COVID if no one was in the union hall? Let's go to Map Store contact list. We have the same thing, just the union hall number, right? With the extension number. The officers were not in the union hall. So who were the members calling for help? Nobody, because you guys decided to seek refuge at home to protect yourselves and your family. And this is what I need the members to understand, that we were in this by ourselves. They could come out now and say all they want. You know, we were there, because we can't really go back and say that they wasn't, but we have video to say that they was working from home. We have evidence to contradict the things that they were actually doing out here, right? Anyone could come out and say that they was the man back in the days if you have no one to contradict it. But if you have proof and receipts of someone saying, no, he wasn't the man, he stayed in the shelter, you're going to believe that guy that's saying that he was the man? No. You're going to say, nah, you was in the shelter. How you was the man? Right? So this is the same thing here. They keep telling us stuff, but there's contradicting evidence to say otherwise. And we need you guys to wake up, because this is not only an attack on the workers. This is an attack on the riders of New York City Transit also. You ride the bus, you ride the train. You need to be invested in this information here, because if they're not willing to protect the workers, they are not going to be willing to protect the riders. And this is a fact. So one thing I say to you, Tano, once again, where is the cell phone numbers in buses that if the members had an issue during this very serious moment in our American history, how are they supposed to contact their union officers? How are they supposed to contact their union officers? That's all I want to know. But these guys are lying. And once again, I'm going to play this video again because it's very important. And when they did decide to come out of hiding, right, after the death toll started spiking, right, and after the MTA said, hey, maybe we will give y'all masks, because Tano felt that the only members that should have had masks were members where members were masked were a part of their PPE, right? So now let's go to the video when they decided to come out of hiding to address the members they supposed to represent.
When I saw the news that we had 61 of our members die, you know, and that's what brought water from my eyes. And the first thing I thought about is, you know, is that we're all in this together. You know, we all come to work, never expected that we'd be doing something like this. We all want to get home to our families. And then what happened, our anxiety level is so high, you know, and we lean on each other for support. And, you know, if you talk about unity, this is real unity when the transit workers, the members, lean on each other for support. I went to locations and hear members speaking to each other about what they do when they get home, how to take care of themselves and their families. That is real support. You know, when this whole thing started in January, the president and us, we sat down at the table with the New York City bus and subway heads up and fight with these bastards. You know, if they had listened to us, you know, we would be in a better place today. I'm only Earl Phillips. This is only Tony Tano. You know, we are not Jesus Christ. You know, we don't know who's going to die tomorrow. We don't predict that. But we know if you listen to us and work collectively with us.
I'm going to be honest. I can't listen to this whole thing no more. It makes me angry. It's disappointing. It's sad because people actually paid for their lives, with their lives, because of our union administration lack of action and fight. And this whole thing, they are battle tested. They are not battle tested. Now, let's make something clear. Local 100, they had no plan. They had no answer on how to protect workers. They had no answer on how to combat the governor. Their only answer was, we're going to buy, everybody got a cell phone. We're buying computers so workers could work from home. They only thought about themselves at 195 Montague Street. March 20th, when we were still trying to get masks, the MTA abandoned 195 Montague Street and went home to their families and friends and decided to work remotely, as Tano said, right? Now, we was dealing with an administration that was more focused on siding with Cuomo instead of protecting their workforce. All the evidence is there. You know, we just heard Earl Phillips say, if the MTA would have listened to us. All right, the MTA did not listen to you. What did you do? Nothing. You didn't say nothing. You decided to still lay in your retreat at home, stay at home, and let the workers figure it out for ourselves. That's what you guys should have done. If the MTA did not listen to you guys, then you know what you should have done? You should have stopped the unsafe work. That's what you could have done and dealt with the consequences of the Taylor law. Because I tell you what, we had over 170-something people pass away of our coworkers. I guarantee you they would have rather you took the Taylor law route than their family member becoming ill, sick, and dying because of you guys' lack of action. This is a fact. This is a fact. This is not made up. This is a fact. This is a fact. So when you look at these people, look at them. They are weak. They are decrepit. They are outdated. Their shelf life been up. One thing they know how to do is remain corrupt and know how to move these pieces on the chessboard to stay in office. But they are not fit and able to be leaders in this union. This is a fact. This is a 100% fact. And you guys want to know why this is the TA Surface experience match that they tried to say. Why didn't they mention how they fought and stood up for members during this pandemic? They can't mention that because they know that they failed and they want us to forget that as soon as possible. They want us to forget that ASAP, right? And then they come with this fake narrative of yeah, you know, only thing they trying to do is politicize the deaths. No, you know who politicized the deaths? The people who politicize the deaths is the people that's on this picture right here. These are the people who politicize the deaths. They politicize the deaths by not standing up for the riders and workers in New York City who make the system move, who makes money for the system, and who funds the system. That's who politicized the deaths, because there wouldn't be nothing to politicize if they wasn't being a lapdog to Cuomo and afraid of the Taylor law. That's who politicized the deaths, not us talking about it. We're going to continue to talk about it because this is a moment in history. This is not a blip in history. This is a moment in history, and we are still living in that moment in history. And we're going to continue to talk about these moments in histories and how these unions failed us, how these politicians failed us, how everyone failed us except us. That's why we're going to keep talking about it. No, we're not politicizing the deaths because we was talking about this way before the election. But you want to know what? You guys failed. And we're not going to not talk about it because we can't afford another one of these things to happen because it may be me next time. It may be you next time if you're falling up under the sound of my voice. And we cannot afford that. Our families cannot afford that. Right? So forget that weak narrative, you know, that and they play the I don't know, adolescent psychology games. They play the most simple psychology games. Oh, y'all trying to politicize the deaths, trying to deter you from talking about their failures. That's what all this is about. Trying to deter us from talking about their failures. The way they handled this pandemic was one of the most horrendous failures that this administration has ever done. And they done a lot. And the only reason that it's horrendous because there's one thing you can't come back from, and that's death. And a lot of my coworkers died, and they are not getting the justice that they deserve. People should really be locked up behind this if you really want to be honest. They should. This administration took a hand-off approach on this entire thing. They allowed workers to die by not stopping the unsafe work. They are responsible for a lot of this stuff here. So let them say, oh, they politicizing the deaths. No, we're talking about your failures. You guys politicize the deaths by not implementing the Taylor law, by not standing up to Cuomo and not stopping this unsafe work. That's how that worked. Y'all could keep all that other kind of crazy stuff. And someone had added me this on Twitter today. It was actually posted today. I don't know if I got the date there, but it was actually posted today by a guy named Judge, what's his name? Tano, right? And he's from Fox News. Now, this is another thing. You got people saying, oh, don't listen to Fox News. Don't listen to MSNBC. Don't listen to CNN. A broke clock is right 2 times a day. I am going to listen, and I am going to decipher the real stuff from the fake stuff, do my research, and apply it as need be, right? So this guy wrote, hey, New York MTA, if death benefits are part of a collective bargaining agreement or a pension benefit, carrying out your mean-spirited threat would violate federal law. This is tyranny, right? So this is talking about families could be denied death benefits if they didn't take the vaccine, right? Now let's go into the next post because wait, hold on. I put up the wrong thing. I put up the wrong post, but it's all good. That's what I just read right there. No, hold on. I had the right one up. I think I did. All right, so let me get this one up, right? It says, hey, New York, wait, did I read this already? All right. It says, hey, New York MTA, not only does your broken down, antiquated rail system exemplify your gross incompetence, you're denying death benefits to those who die of the coronavirus that are conscientiously unvaccinated, epitomizes your arrogance, ignorance, and disdain of America's Constitution, right? Now, what I don't understand is that the union is going to remain quiet on this because the union is complicit with whatever the MTA does. They are complicit with whatever the MTA does, right? So check this out. I got to keep beating y'all in the head with this right here. We already have a line of duty death benefit. There was no need for our union leadership to sign a separate stipulation of if you die from COVID when we have the line of duty death benefit. Well, Tramel, how is the line of death? How can we prove that you got COVID from work? Well, there's a precedent already set. The MTA didn't controvert a lot of the COVID cases because them themselves already realized that we got this from work, which means that it is line of duty, right? So why did the union sign a separate stipulation with the MTA when we already have this in our contract? And that's what this guy from Fox News is talking about. This is exactly what he's talking about. And the union is staying back and allowing the MTA to get away with this, right? You don't hear a peep out of them regarding this. You don't hear not one word out of them regarding this, and it is crazy that, they're allowed to get away with this. Now, I got to touch on something serious because I'm hearing a lot of things, right? And this is the games that they play. And when I say they, I'm talking about our union leadership. And if you are a part of another union, I'm quite sure you're going to be able to relate with this. But real quick, I need you guys to donate to the platform. I just put the Cash App back on the screen. And I need you guys to donate. But we're going to get into something very serious. When I look at or I think about my union leadership, this is the picture that comes to my head, right? I'm not talking about the members. I'm talking about the actual officers. When I think of the union administration, this is the picture that comes to my head. They are always ready, willing, and able to stab a member in the back. Now, I am going to, let me see something. Let me see something real quick. Let me see something. Gotta check something out real quick. Let me see if this is on. All right, just making sure that y'all still there, right? So this is the thing, right? There is a something being said at Gleason Depot that the opposition, and we're going to clear that up, right? The opposition is snitching, and where a bus operator was banged in for allegedly running a gym and charging members or something like that. And I mean, I don't know, right? Now, I want to make this clear. I don't co-sign getting members in trouble, feeding them to management. I don't co-sign that, right? And I seen a video by the acting depot chair. What's his name? Aaron Vasquez, I believe, right? Acting depot chair at Gleason Depot. And he made a video, saying some things, right? He never mentioned no names. But he was insinuating that the opposition was the people who told on this specific bus operator, right? Now, he's saying that he's against snitching, and that's the right thing to say. Nobody will go on camera and say, I'm for snitching, especially if you're in the union business, right? But I will agree with him and say that I don't agree with the snitching. But what I am going to say is that his team is full of snitches. They are loaded with snitches, people who turn their backs on members. And we could just talk about COVID. We seen the union leadership turn their backs on members during COVID, in which many members died, and you can't come back from death, right? We seen that. In other instances in which they have fed members to management, right? Without a doubt. Now, it's funny because the team that he represents, and we talking about this guy on the screen, Aaron Vasquez, and I don't know him. I don't know if he's a good guy. I don't know if he's a bad guy. But once you come into this internet thing, and this is another thing with these guys, they are so against the internet, but when they want to come promote their propaganda, guess what they do? They run to the internet, right? These guys is funny, right? But like I said, I don't know him. But since he wanted to make a public comment on this, hold on. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Oh, I gotta write something down real quick. Since he want to make a public comment on this, I'm going to make a public comment on this, right? Now, I don't support snitching. I don't support telling. I don't support feeding someone to management. Don't support that, right? But in fact, the team that Aaron Vasquez represents, right? They tell so much. If you go onto the union website and click on the About tab and scroll down to, I think, election committee or whatever, and look at the protest there from 2021, then click on, election protest 2021. It's his team that he represents, Stand United, snitching to the elections committee neutral monitor, Barbara Dinehart, on members who's campaigning on their days off, campaigning while they banged out sick, which can get a member in trouble, right? Because you're only supposed to use sick for sick, right? You can find protests from his team banging candidates into the neutral monitor. We had John Chiarello bang Duvette Williams and said that he didn't have his petition in his hand when he was getting signatures. All of this is snitching, right? And the opposition is forced to defend themselves from these snitches by putting in their own complaints. But look at the election alone. It's lopsided on how much the team Aaron Vasquez represents snitches. Even the people who, the officers that's over him, that they snitch, right? We just had J.P. Patafio bang Roberto in about making an online, Roberto and Kempin about making an online video at home, snitching, right? Because the neutral monitor is not putting in these complaints herself. So they are snitching. So since we want to talk about snitching, right? Now, we had Stand United once again send emails to my school trying to get me expelled from school because I was contesting the union. That is snitching. That's the team that Aaron Vasquez played for. Now, Aaron, let me ask you this. Did you know that your team that you represent continuously banging members to the IGs, banging members to management? Do you know that? And I'm speaking from experience. The person who banged me in, right? Or what I heard from my connections in management, because you guys know I have my own connections in management, is that the union officers from Stand United banged me in. The team that you play for, my friend, right? This is what you guys do. Now, in fact, Aaron, I don't know how long you've been paying attention, but were you there when the union officers, the team that you play for, Stand United, called the police on us at the Union Hall in an attempt to get us locked up? Let me play the video for you.
They said the key word protest.
How many they said? 200?
Come on. We can all go in. This is our union hall. This is our union hall.
He doesn't want you in there.
No, sorry.
You don't
You're not
want
coming in the interview. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's why you call the police?
I didn't call the police.
That's what you're...
Aaron, that was your teammate. John Chiarello, front and center when the police came. The team that you play for, Stand United. Oh, that's the same John Chiarello that banged in Duvette this year about the petitions to the neutral monitor. Let's talk about snitching. Because this is all you guys do. And I'm not saying you, because I don't know if you snitched or not. You seem like a stand-up guy. Let me take that back. Because I've seen some videos of you running down on women that I don't agree with, right? I don't agree with running down on females trying to intimidate them. So I won't say that you're a stand-up guy, right? Now, I'm going to tell you this, Aaron. Did you know, and we talking about as recent as 2 weeks ago, and we talking about in my department, did you know that a union rep that's running with your teammate, Eric Logel, and I don't want to hear oh, that's Subways. That has nothing to do with us over here, but you still running up under the same banner, right? Wrote a G2, an officer now. We're talking about a union officer. Wrote a G2 instead of what they call that? I forgot the word for it, right? But this union officer decided to write a G2 against another member, which resulted in them getting 30 days in the street, right? And it was that union officer G2 that was the difference between that member getting 30 days in the street. You want to talk about snitching? The team that you play for is doing a whole bunch of telling and snitching, my friend. A whole bunch of telling and snitching. Now, I'm going to tell you something about you guys over there, right? Oh, another thing. When I first met Paulie told me about John Chiarello again. That he said that he was going to get this guy fired, talking about me and feed me to management. The team that you play for, again, we're going to think about Chiarello for a second. He told Paulie during lobby day, I think it was like 2018, that he was going to get me fired by management. John Chiarello was involved in this police video in which the police, they attempted to try to get dues paying members arrested at the Union Hall. And we also, John Chiarello snitching to the Neutral Monitor about petitions, right? Since we want to talk about snitches. Now, I'm going to say this. You guys stand united, right? Now, maybe you are a little different from them. I don't know, right? But you guys stand united are so diabolical. You guys will bang in your own members just to dox the opposition, right? I would not be surprised if someone from your team banged in this operator, right? Just to blame it on the opposition, because you guys like removing worthless people on a chessboard. This is what you guys do. You guys want to blame the opposition and whoever that may be. But you guys are the ones with the proven track record to actually tell and snitch on people. This is what you guys do. You guys feed members to management. Now, I could almost guarantee that the union, and I know some details of what's going on here, and I can guarantee you that the union would not be implicated in this. Why? Because I promise you, I almost guarantee you that you guys banged in your own members just to dox the opposition, just to throw dirt on the opposition, because this is just how diabolical you guys are. You guys tried to get me arrested. You guys tried to say I was bringing firearms to work. You guys tried to say I was committing comp fraud. You guys tried to get me kicked out of college. And ain't no telling what else you guys tried to do to me personally that didn't come to the surface yet. So, Aaron, I'm going to tell you this. If you're a stand-up guy, why are you running with snakes and snitches? Why? Y'all snitching during the election. You guys are snitching in between elections. You guys are trying to get people locked up, arrested, fired. Can't go to the union hall without the police getting called on us. You playing for a team full of snitches. So what I would say, that if you are a stand-up guy, Aaron, I want you to drop out of this election. Don't run under Stand United, because they don't stand united. They don't stand united. And run under your own banner. And if you run with snitches, that means that you're one of them. You got some thinking to think about. Because I think that this diabolical plan, y'all sold that man out. Y'all snitched on that man. Y'all got the record and track record of snitching and selling out your members. This is how dirty you guys play. And it makes me so upset that they will go to no end to win an election. And that no end also means selling out their own members and trying to blame it on the opposition when the track record actually says that they are the ones who do most of the snitching. Like I said, go to the election committee on the website and look at the protests from this year, from this union election, and see where all the snitching comes from. It comes from staying united, lopsided. Oh, this person is campaigning when they're not supposed to be campaigning. This person ain't collecting signatures properly. This person banged out of work and did this. That could get someone fired alone. But hey, it take one to know one, right? Maybe that's why you running with them. I don't know. But I just gave you some facts. Not my opinion. I just showed you some facts. And if you decide to run with the snitches, then it says a lot about your character. You guys get on these internet platforms and think that you could sway the members and put on these crazy fake tones. And come on, man. The real ones see through that. The real ones see through that. But, yeah. If you guys like what we doing over here at Progressive Action, and you guys want to see more of this type of information and bring this information so effortlessly, fluently, you guys got to donate to the platform, man. Got to donate to the Cash App, Progressive Action 100. If you're watching on Facebook right now, live is pinned in the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description of the video. If you're watching on Facebook, you could just, if you're watching on Twitter, you could just, follow what's on the screen, the handle, the Progressive Action 100 for the Cash App. But I'm not, like I told you guys before, I'm not letting you guys slide anymore. Not letting you guys slide anymore. You guys is playing a diabolical game. You guys think y'all gangsters. Y'all think y'all tough. You guys think y'all the know-it-all of information. You guys are the total opposite of what you guys think you really are, right? That's what it really is. But like I said, donate to the platform. And Aaron, look, if you feel a type of way, you could call into the show and we could discuss some things. We could discuss the snitching. We could discuss the whatever you want to discuss. We could discuss this election. We could discuss whatever you want to discuss. So you want to get on this internet, you want to holler at me, let's do it. We could do it tomorrow. We could do it later on today. Don't matter when. Let me know if you want to talk about the real things and really be questioning about what's going on, and we see where your heart is at. I'll catch you guys later. Donate to the platform.